Welcome to Beyond the Dark, where we plunge headfirst into the realms of the unexplained, the mysterious, and the extraordinary. I'm your host, Jay Rockwell, and together we'll navigate the shadowy corridors of ufology, explore the world of cryptids, and venture into the cosmic unknown. From extraterrestrial encounters to the secrets of the paranormal, we leave no stone unturned. Join me as we embark on a journey that transcends the boundaries of reality. Hey there, neighbor. It's Jay Rockwell, and we are here with another edition of Beyond the Dark. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. Some good fights on Saturday. If you didn't know, I am a huge fan of MMA and UFC 294. Good stuff, good stuff. We got some football yesterday, and my fantasy football team is not doing so hot. But hey, keeps it interesting, right? Well, last week we covered Area 51 and Bob Lazar, and that seems to be the most popular episode of Beyond the Dark to date. Not that it has been around a long time, but thank you so much to everybody who came out last week to show love and support. Greatly appreciated. Definitely was a good one. I actually had some really good news bits too. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and go back. I have all of it listed in my podcast section for Beyond the Dark. Give it a listen. Let me know what you think. You have anything to add on to that? Any questions about it? Any little additions that you would like to add? Shout out. Give me a holler. Beyond the Dark Radio at Outlook.com. We are now officially, sounds so serious. We are officially available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. That's right. So pick your platform, okay? If you're not feeling YouTube lately, don't worry. We got other platforms. Spotify actually is the one out of the four. I think I listed out of the four that seems to be doing some work. Getting some good impressions. I already got like 6 followers. Enjoying it. It's a great time, and I like the look of it. I've used Spotify forever, and iHeartRadio. I use that when I'm in the office at work. I like to listen to some stations there. So yeah, check us out. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. To get that search, just type in Beyond the Dark with Jay Rockwell. Remember, folks, we are still looking for new members all the time in the Discord. It's free to join, it's free to download, and we can just come together and share everything in real time. Pictures, you can ask questions. What are you reading lately? What movie did you watch last? That type of thing. Just picture it, I got the boomers. Hate to call you out, but I got the boomers confronting me like, what is this garbo? I don't know what this is. Well, look, just think of it as a fancy little message board. Remember message boards back in the day? Little V-bulletin boards? Picture it as a message board mixed with like an old AOL chat room combined into one, and they just made it look shiny. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Come hang out. Beyond the Dark Discord. The link is in the below section in the description. Also, we are still and always taking all your stories. They don't have to be ghost stories. Any type of story. I'm taking any and all stories, experiences, encounters, questions. Send me a question. Ask me whatever you want. I have nothing to hide. Send it to beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. That is beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. And lastly, before we jump into the news, I just want to give mad love to my coffee supporters. It's my favorite thing in life. I start my day out every day with some awesome Colombian coffee. Actually, that's what I have recently. The one before that, I was doing the French roast McCafe. Call me fancy, whatever. My mother got me onto French roast. So, but now I am digging the Colombian, and I wouldn't call myself a coffee connoisseur. But if you have a favorite coffee and you're like, man, Jay's got to try this, hit me up. Let me know. I want to try it. But thank you for all the coffee supporters out there for donating coffee. Michelle, Afros Animation, and Sky Eyes. I really appreciate you guys. Mad love, mad love. And speaking of Michelle, why don't you go ahead and take it away and let's get started.
You are listening to Beyond the Dark with J. Rockwell. And here's what's in the news.
Hey there, space enthusiasts! We've got some exciting news from the cosmos for you today. Recent observations from the James Webb Space Telescope are shedding light on Jupiter's moon, Europa, and it's hinting at something big: the potential for extraterrestrial life. That's right, you heard me right. Two independent studies using this cutting-edge telescope reveal that the CO2 ice on Europa's surface has its roots deep within the moon's subsurface ocean. Picture this. Beneath layers of solid ice, Europa holds a salty, liquid ocean, making it a top contender in our search for life beyond Earth. Previous research showed us CO2 ice on Europa, but it couldn't tell us where it came from. Was it from the ocean below, meteorite impacts, or something else? Well, these new studies have cracked the code. Samantha Trumbo and Michael Brown used the James Webb Space Telescope data to map out the CO2 on Europa. They found the highest concentrations in Terra Regio, an area rich in chaos terrain. This tells us that the CO2 bubbled up from Europa's internal ocean fairly recently, in geological terms. In another independent study, Geronimo Villanueva and team confirmed this discovery. They found the CO2 mixed with other compounds, with a special concentration in Terra Regio. This, my friends, points to a clear source from within the moon. Now, they couldn't quite tell if this carbon came from biological or non-biological processes, but it's still a groundbreaking revelation. Plus, they were on the lookout for plumes breaking through Europa's icy crust, but didn't spot any during these observations. So what does this all mean? Well, it's looking like Europa's internal ocean is loaded with carbon, a key ingredient for life as we know it. This discovery is taking us one step closer to answering that age-old question. Could there be life out there, beyond our blue planet? Stay tuned, space lovers. The universe always has more surprises in store for us. I've got some intriguing news to drop on you here. Scientists have just uncovered some pretty sweet benefits of grapes. Turns out, munching on these juicy little guys can seriously up your eye game. You seeing me? In a recent study, researchers found that chowing down on grapes for 16 weeks did wonders for the eyes of older adults. This is the first time a study like this has been done on humans, and the results are backing up earlier findings. Grapes are like a shield for your retinas, folks. Now, let's get a bit sciencey. As we get older, our eyes face more risks of going wonky. Things like oxidative stress and high levels of ocular advanced glycation end products, try saying that 3 times fast, can mess with our vision. But here's where grapes step in as the unsung heroes. They're packed with antioxidants and polyphenols that can fight off these vision villains. So here's the juicy part. In this study, they had 34 folks chomping down on grapes every day, about a cup and a half worth. And guess what happened? Those grape enthusiasts showed a major boost in macular pigment optical density, plasma antioxidant capacity, and total phenolic content. Meanwhile, the non-grape eaters saw an increase in those pesky AGEs, which we definitely don't want. Dr. Jung Young Kim, one of the brains behind this study, couldn't contain the excitement. She said, "This is groundbreaking stuff. Grapes can seriously level up your eye health, especially for our older crew. And the best part? Just 1.5 cups a day can do the trick." So, next time you're feeling snacky, grab some grapes and give your eyes a little love. Stay tuned for some more awesome insights right here on Beyond the Dark. Here's some out of this world news, okay? NASA's been up to something fascinating, giving us a peek into a 4.5 billion-year-old asteroid named Bennu. Remember, we covered this a couple weeks ago, but now they have been able to dive in, and guess what they found? Loads of water and carbon. Yep, this ain't your average space rock. This discovery is backing up the wild idea that life on our lovely Earth might have hitched a ride from space. Imagine that! This whole adventure was part of the OSIRIS-REx mission, a 7-year journey just to scoop up some asteroid goodies. They dropped off their cosmic loot in Utah just last month, and now they're diving into some deep scientific analysis. Carbon's the star of the show here, making up nearly 5% of the sample. And get this, it comes in both organic and mineral forms. Meanwhile, the water's tucked away in the crystal structure of clay minerals. Now, here's where it gets even cooler. Scientists think that eons ago, Earth got smacked by water-carrying asteroids, which is why we've got our beautiful oceans and lakes. And, of course, carbon's the backbone of life as we know it. It's what cooks up our proteins, enzymes, and even the genetic codes in our DNA and RNA. The team used some fancy tech like scanning electron microscopy and X-ray computed tomography to uncover these mind-blowing facts. And guess what? This is just the tip of the space iceberg. They're spreading the sample around the globe for more labs to dig into. Should speed the process up a little bit, right? Now, OSIRIS-REx isn't the first space detective to nab asteroid samples. Japan pulled it off twice, bringing back Stardust in 2010 and 2020. But what NASA's got? It's like comparing a half-a-pound burger to a nibble. Bennu, named after an ancient Egyptian god, is like a time capsule floating in space. And here's a fun fact. Bennu's orbit actually crosses paths with ours, making this mission a bit easier than trekking out to the asteroid belt. Plus, understanding Bennu's makeup could be crucial if we ever need to give it a nudge away from Earth. No worries for now, though. The chance of a collision before the mid-2100s? Pretty much zilch. And get this visual. The surface of Bennu is so loose that if you stepped on it, you'd sink in, like those ball pits at the play zones. Can you even imagine that? Now, our space scientists are focusing on these bonus particles on top of the main sample. They've got a lot of digging ahead. Back in 2020, when they tried to collect the material, a little got away into another compartment. But you know what they say? Having too much material is the best kind of problem. NASA's holding on to at least 70% of the sample for future space pondering. It's a tradition from the Apollo era with those legendary moon rocks. And some pieces will be on display for all of us Earthlings to marvel at. You'll find them at the Smithsonian Institution, Space Center Houston, and the University of Arizona. So, there you have it, folks. A sneak peek into Bennu's secrets, and maybe a hint at how life on Earth got its start. Stay tuned for more cosmic wonders. I've got an awesome piece of ancient history to share with you all. Picture this. 1800 years ago, New Zealand's Taupo volcano unleashed an epic eruption. And get this. It sent volcanic glass flying a mind-blowing 3,000 miles all the way to Antarctica. What? Now, This volcanic fallout has been a bit of a mystery, causing quite the debate among scientists for decades. They've been on a mission to nail down the exact year of this colossal blast. Initially, they leaned towards AD 232, judging by radiocarbon dating of trees affected by the eruption. But hold on to your hats. Some experts thought there might be some mix-up and suggested it could have been up to 2 centuries later. Fast forward to today, and our cool as a cucumber researchers hit the jackpot down in West Antarctica. They dug up ice cores a whopping 915 feet below ground, and what did they find? 7 super special volcanic glass shards. Lead researcher Stephen Piva coughed up the deets, saying, "These unique glass shards deep within an ice core pretty much confirm that epic eruption happened in the year 232, most likely in late summer or early autumn." But wait, there's more! They did some serious chemistry magic and linked 6 of these shards right back to the Taupo eruption. And the 7th? Well, that's from a jaw-dropping eruption of the same volcano about 25,500 years ago. Talk about ancient history. Now here's the mind-blowing part, as if we haven't done that already. These shards were hanging out at similar depths, suggesting that glass from the ancient eruption was chilling near the volcano, only to be shot up into the sky during the Taupo eruption thousands of years later. Then, wild winds took over, spreading this glassy treasure over New Zealand and the southwest Pacific Ocean, landing all the way in West Antarctica. That's a whopping 3,100 miles, folks. It's crazy. To find out when this glassy cargo hit Antarctica, they took a peek at the surrounding ice layers. As Piva puts it, the volcanic debris trapped in the ice is like a time capsule, helping us lock in when this eruption went down. Finding glass from 2 separate eruptions of the same volcano is like hitting the jackpot for these researchers. It's a slam dunk confirmation that it all came from Taupo. And can we just take a moment to appreciate the sheer power of these eruptions? Winds high in the atmosphere played courier, carrying this volcanic cargo all the way from New Zealand to West Antarctica. Now here's the kicker. This Taupo eruption was no flash in the pan. It raged on for days, maybe even weeks. Picture an explosion of lava so intense it scarred a whopping 7,700 square miles. That's like the area the size of 2 Luxembourgs. Now, why has this epic event been such a tough nut to crack in Antarctic ice cores? The researchers are scratching their heads, and we're just along for the ride on this epic journey back in time. Here's a fascinating tidbit. Ever wondered why SSRIs, those antidepressants we hear about, take their sweet time to start working? Well, scientists have just unlocked a secret. So here's the scoop. A recent study spilled the beans at the ECNP conference in Barcelona on October 9th. It's all about how these SSRIs affect your brain. Turns out, during those initial weeks of taking them, something pretty cool is happening. Now, let me break it down for you. SSRIs usually take a while to show mental health benefits, right? But why the wait? Well, it turns out that there's actually a physical change going on in your brain. Yeah, change is happening up there. Researchers in Copenhagen, Innsbruck, and the University of Cambridge did a nifty study. They gave some volunteers an SSRI called Lexapro, while others got a placebo. Fast forward 3 to 5 weeks, and they scanned their brains with a PET scanner. What they found was mind-blowing. The brains of those on the SSRI had more of these things called synapses. Think of them as connections between nerve cells. These are crucial for things like emotions, perceptions, and memory. And guess what? This increase in synapses was mainly happening in the neocortex and hippocampus, key players in the brain's depression department. Now, let's get to the exciting part. This means SSRIs might be boosting the density of these synapses, which could be a big clue on how they actually work. And here's the kicker. It takes time for these connections to build up. That's why SSRIs don't hit you like a lightning bolt. They take their sweet time to kick in. Now, Professor Geit Knudsen from Copenhagen University Hospital summed it up nicely. She said, with those taking the SSRI, over time there was a gradual increase in synapses in the neocortex and hippocampus of the brain compared to those taking placebo. We did not see any effect in those taking placebo. And we've got some wise words from Professor David Nutt over at Imperial College, London. He says, the delay in therapeutic action of antidepressants has been a puzzle. So these new data in humans are very exciting. Well, there you have it, folks. A little peek into the mystery of how SSRIs do their thing. Stay tuned for more mind-blowing insights right here on your favorite chill radio show. I've got some seriously cool dino news for you. Picture this. 75 million years ago in the Cargo Oasis, Egypt, there lived a new kid on the dinosaur block. They call it Igai Semku, which in ancient Egyptian means forgotten lord of the oasis. And guess what? This dino was just about 33 to 50 feet long, making it the pint-sized rock star of the Titanosaur crew. Fast forward to July 2023, and the Journal of Vertebrate Paleontology gives this ancient celeb its official debut. Our paleo rock stars dug up Igai Semku back in '77, but it took almost 5 decades for this creature to get its spotlight moment. Talk about patience, right? Now, let's get into the sciencey stuff. Igai Semku belongs to the Titanosaur Club, a group of sauropods. These are those plant-eating dinos with long necks, small heads, and massive bodies. Back in the day, 75 million years ago, most sauropods were out of the picture, leaving titanosaurs like Igai Semku as the real stars of the show. And here's the kicker. Despite the name Titansaur, they weren't all colossal. They ranged from cow-sized to, get this, humpback whale-sized. Igai Semku, though, was kind of like the Goldilocks of titanosaurs. Not too big, not too small. Just right. Now, we'll be honest, we've only got a few leg bones and some vertebrae to go off of. So, painting the full picture of Igai Semku's look is a bit like trying to complete a puzzle with half the pieces missing. But here's the cool part. Even with just these fragments, it's one of the most complete dino fossils ever found in Africa. And that's a big deal because dino bones in Africa are about as rare as a chill playlist at a heavy metal concert. Why, you ask? Well, turns out Africa's dino record from the last 30 million years is like a missing chapter in an epic novel. Not many paleontologists have been digging around there, and when they do, they're faced with thick vegetation and desert sands. But Igai Semku, despite being a bit of a puzzle, is a game changer in our dino knowledge. The forgotten lord of the oasis, Igai Semku, is our new dino rock star, filling in a huge gap in our dino history. Let's give it up for our ancient Egyptian friend making waves in the world of paleontology. Hey there, night owls and early birds alike. Here's some eye-opening news for you. Ever wondered why working the night shift can throw your health for a loop? Well, it turns out there's a fascinating phenomenon at play. A recent study out of the University of Bristol took a deep dive into the lives of our nocturnal rodent friends. These researchers found that when our natural body rhythms clash with our eating habits, it can lead to some serious health hiccups. Now, here's the science bit. There's a hormone called corticosterone, sort of like our human cortisol, that peaks in the hours before we wake up and drops throughout the day. When this hormone's rhythm was messed with the rats, they ended up chowing down during their rest time, a total shift from their usual routine. The interesting part? No extra weight gain, but a big change in their eating habits. It all comes down to the genes that control appetite, which were more active at the wrong times. So, what's the takeaway for our night shift champs out there? Well, soaking up some daylight, Fitting in a bit of exercise and keeping meals on a regular schedule can help. But hey, we get it. It's not always easy to override those late night cravings. That's why the brilliant minds at Bristol are looking into ways to tackle this on a whole new level. They're exploring possible treatments to keep our late night munchies in check. So, whether you're burning the midnight oil or just curious about how our body clocks tick, this research sheds light on the link between our routines and our health. Here's to hoping it leads to healthier, happier nights for all of us. Stay tuned for more updates on this groundbreaking study. I've got some fascinating news on the horizon here. Ever heard of microdosing magic mushrooms? Well, it turns out they might just hold the key to mending our minds. Researchers at the University of Southern Denmark have been diving deep into the world of psilocybin, the magical component in mushrooms that gives them their trippy edge. And guess what? They're onto something big. Usually, we associate psilocybin with full-on psychedelic experiences, but now they're exploring microdosing, giving small, controlled doses. Think of it as a subtle nudge for the mind. This recent study, published in Nature, took a closer look at how these microdoses affect our rodent friends. Turns out, they handled it like champs, showing no signs of mood swings or strange behavior. In fact, they became stress-busting champions and waved goodbye to compulsive habits. Plus, there's a cool twist in the brain's wiring. More connections to the thalamus, the filter for our thoughts and worries. This could explain why folks report feeling a positive boost from these small doses. So, what's the big picture here? Well, this study could be a game changer in the world of mental health. It's opening doors to new ways of treating mental struggles, possibly without the need for heavy medications. With places like the Netherlands, Australia, the USA, and Canada already exploring the therapeutic potential of psilocybin, it's crucial we understand the ins and outs of these substances that folks around the globe are already trying out. And get this, the researcher behind this study, Mikhail Palner, got the idea while soaking up the vibes in Silicon Valley. He saw the buzz around using psychedelics for self-improvement and thought, hey, let's dive in. Now, thanks to this study, they're onto something huge. It's not just about rats. It's about enhancing our understanding of the brain and ultimately helping all of us live a little easier. So stay tuned, because this could be a real changer, folks. Here's an interesting bit. It turns out that peppermint might just be the natural ticket to easing post-surgery discomfort and catching those much-needed Z's. Now, let me break it down for you. A recent study in the BMJ Supportive and Palliative Care Journal suggests that using essential peppermint oil through aromatherapy could be a game changer for folks recovering from open heart surgery. I mean, who wouldn't want a little extra comfort in those crucial recovery days? You see, heart surgery, as you might guess, is no small feat. It involves some serious steps, like separating the breastbone and relying on mechanical breathing support. That combo can bring on some hefty pain, stress, and sleepless nights. But guess what? Peppermint might just be the answer. The study found that inhaling peppermint essential oil could potentially dial down pain levels and help you catch better Z's after the surgery. And let's be real, effective pain relief is like a golden ticket to a speedier recovery. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, traditional pain relief methods can sometimes slow down the recovery process and lead to other complications. So finding a natural alternative like peppermint oil is a breath of fresh air, don't you think? But here's the thing, folks. This isn't just a shot in the dark. Previous research has hinted that essential oils, especially peppermint, could be a real game changer in palliative care. So the researchers dug in and studied 64 adults who had undergone open heart surgery. They divided them into two groups, giving one group a little dose of peppermint essential oil and the other group a placebo. After a couple of days, guess what they found? The peppermint crew reported lower pain levels and better sleep quality compared to the other group. So, what's the secret behind this peppermint magic? Well, it's all in the main components of the oil, like carvone, limonene, and menthol. These little powerhouses seem to be the key to relieving pain, especially menthol. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a small trial, and there could be some other factors at play. But hey, if a little whiff of peppermint oil can help you recover smoother after heart surgery, why not give it a shot, right? So, if you or someone you know is gearing up for a heart surgery, maybe consider adding a touch of peppermint to the recovery routine. It might just be the natural nudge you need to get back on your feet faster and catch some well-deserved sleep. And lastly, I've got a wild tale from down under for you. Two Aussie fishers had a close call with one feisty ocean dweller. Picture this. They're 12 miles off Dundee Beach, enjoying the waves, when suddenly they get a not-so-friendly visit from an irukandji jellyfish. These tiny terrors, found in the deep waters around northern Australia, pack a punch with their venom. Now, let me tell you, this jellyfish might be small, just around 0.8 inches, but it's one of the most venomous sea creatures on the planet. These guys don't play around. The venom can trigger something called irukandji syndrome, which, trust me, you do not want to experience. It's a roller coaster of pain and serious reactions. Our two mates had to catch a ride to the hospital, but good news. They're on the mend and expected to bounce back in no time. See, this venom works like a real sneak, using these specialized stinging cells to deliver its payload. You wouldn't even know you'd been hit until it's too late. The venom's got a nasty trick up its sleeve, similar to some of the most potent venoms out there. It messes with the signals between nerves and muscles, causing all sorts of chaos in the body. We're talking muscle pain, headaches, and even breathing troubles. That's terrifying and not a fun time. Here's the kicker, folks. There's no magic antidote for this sting. Treatment is all about support. Experts suggest a good old vinegar douse, which can stop the venom in its tracks. It's like a superhero move against these tiny terrors. Now, we're not trying to spook you here, but it's good to know that there's about 50 to 100 cases of irukandji syndrome in Australia each year. So if you're hitting the waves, keep an eye out. Most cases pop up in the summer when these jellies make their move toward land. Stay safe out there, and remember, the ocean's got its own set of rules. Keep it chill, folks. And that concludes the news for October 23rd. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hit up our main topic, which I didn't even reveal to you in the beginning of this episode. It's so rude of me. But hey, we're going to delve into the Mothman Prophecies. Oh, yeah. One of my favorites, actually, and I don't want to ramble too much, but if you haven't seen the movie, The Mothman Prophecies, I highly recommend it with Richard Gere. Definitely a few other roles, good actors and actresses in that as well, but Richard Gere is the star. So good. It's not just about the horror, it's about the mystery, it's about the creepiness, the unsettling, disturbing things that happen in that movie, and they're all based on real events, and we're going to dive into that later. But hey, quick shout out to Mixkit Co. They are the ones that provide all the music and sounds that you hear here on Beyond the Dark. Are you looking to get your music featured? Do you make instrumental or any type of music and you would like to be heard? Please send me something to beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com and I can start using your music and we can promote your webpage and whatnot. Remember, that's beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. I'll see you guys in a minute.
You're listening to Beyond the Dark with J. Rockwell.
Yes, I am back and welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that first segment. Also, I did forget to mention if you have a product or a website or anything that you are pushing, please, I'm looking for advertisements. Well, I'm looking to advertise your product, I should say. Looking to do 2 to 3 an episode, nothing spammy, like I said before. But if you're interested, if you have anything, an Etsy page or a company page or whatever, hit me up. Beyond the Dark Radio at Outlook.com. That is Beyond the Dark Radio at Outlook.com. And without further ado, we are going to dive into our main piece here, which is the Mothman Prophecies. Are you ready? I want you all to embark on a little imagination exercise with me. Picture a crisp autumn evening. The sun has just dipped below the horizon, the sky painted with hues of deep purples and midnight blues. The town of Point Pleasant, usually buzzing with the daily hustle and bustle, is now transitioning into night's calm embrace. You, as an inhabitant of this quaint town, decide to take a leisurely drive, hoping to find solace in the countryside's serenity. The windows of your car are down, letting in the fresh, earthy aroma that follows a light evening drizzle. There's an old tune playing softly on the radio, its nostalgic notes filling the air. All feels right with the world. But as your car cruises down a less traveled path, the woods on either side, bathed in the silver light of the moon, seem to grow denser, more enveloping. Suddenly, a silhouette appears in the distance. Not human, not animal, but something different. Something unsettling. A figure with expansive wings, standing tall, its eyes two burning embers in the dark. This, dear listeners, is your first encounter with the phenomenon we now know as the Mothman. And while this might be a flight of fancy for us, for some, it was very real, spine-chilling experience. Tonight, we dive deep into these tales, uncovering the legend of the Mothman Prophecies. Prepare to be both intrigued and mystified. The world is vast, filled with cities, towns, and tiny hamlets, each with its unique history and stories passed down through generations. Yet, every so often, a tale emerges that transcends local folklore, capturing the imagination of people far and wide, and etching its narrative into the annals of the unexplained. The Mothman Prophecies is one such story. Point Pleasant, at a cursory glance, appears to be like any other town in West Virginia. Its history is rooted in the camaraderie of its people, the seasonal festivals, the small businesses that line its streets, and children playing by the riverbanks. But beneath this seemingly idyllic veneer lies an intricate tapestry of events, whispers of strange occurrences, and a lurking sense of the uncanny. The story isn't linear. It's not just a series of events that can be neatly packaged into a beginning, middle, and end. Instead, think of it as like a spider's web. Each strand is an individual's account, an eerie happening, a cryptic sign. And at the heart of this web, the mysterious, the elusive, the incomprehensible figure of the Mothman. Now, as we peel back the layers of this legend, you might find it hard to separate fact from fiction, reality from exaggeration. That's the beauty of it. The Mothman's allure lies not just in the accounts of its sightings, but in the lingering questions, the myriad of interpretations, and the collective unease it has instilled in the hearts of those who've dared to delve deep. As we journey through this narrative together, I invite you to keep an open mind, to embrace the ambiguity, and to allow yourself to be swept away by the undercurrents of mystery that have kept this tale alive for decades. The stage is set, and the curtains are about to rise on one of the most intriguing enigmas of our time. To truly understand the genesis of any legend, one must travel back in time, immersing oneself into the very era from which it sprang, the 1960s, a period often heralded for its free spirit, music revolution, civil rights movements, and moon landings. But, for the residents of Point Pleasant, it also marked the dawn of an era shrouded in mystery and apprehension. The picturesque town, nestled by the Ohio River, seemed an unlikely setting for a paranormal phenomenon. Families knew one another, children played freely on the streets, and the worries of the world often seemed miles away. But, as history has shown us, the most captivating tales often originate from the most unexpected of places. Enter the Scarberries and the Mallets, two young couples looking for a simple evening of fun and camaraderie. Their choice for a night's drive was the TNT area, a silent testament to wartime endeavors and now an isolated, somewhat eerie landscape. As their car's headlights pierced into the inky darkness, the world as they knew it shifted irrevocably. What they encountered wasn't just a fleeting shadow or an animal startled by their vehicle. Instead, it was a presence that defied explanation. A winged entity with glowing red eyes that seemed to penetrate the very soul. This creature, neither bird nor man, exhibited an intent, a curiosity, almost a challenge. As their car sped away, the couples couldn't shake off the feeling that they had stumbled upon something that was neither legend nor mere myth, but a reality that had chosen to reveal itself. Their harrowing account, shared with local authorities and media, wasn't one of jest or an attempt at local fame. Their palpable fear and consistency in their stories resonated deeply, marking the commencement of a series of events that would place Point Pleasant in the crosshairs of paranormal enthusiasts and skeptics alike. This initial encounter, while chilling in its own right, was merely the tip of the iceberg. Little did the town realize that it was on the brink of becoming the epicenter of one of the most discussed, dissected, and debated supernatural occurrences of the 20th century. This was just the prologue. The Mothman saga had only just begun. When it comes to supernatural phenomena, initial reports often garner a mix of reactions. From the incredulous skeptics who dismiss them as mere hallucinations or pranks, to the curious few who sense something beyond the ordinary. But what elevates an isolated incident to a full-blown phenomenon is the sheer volume and consistency of subsequent encounters. The Mothman sightings were no exception. In the wake of the chilling episode involving the two young couples, Point Pleasant found itself at the center of a whirlwind of whispered conversations and anxious glances. The townspeople were abuzz with questions. Was this creature a solitary wanderer? A mere figment of overactive imaginations? Or was there more to the story? And as days turned into weeks, it became abundantly clear that the Scarberries and the Mallets were not alone in their experience. More townsfolk began stepping forward, recounting their own chilling interactions with the creature. Men and women, young and old, the stories poured in, each eerily similar in detail yet distinct in experience. Imagine walking along a wooded path, the silence only interrupted by the gentle rustling of leaves, when suddenly a looming shadow with expansive wings takes flight, its red eyes locking onto yours. Or picture yourself driving down a lone scent road, only to catch a glimpse of this creature perched atop a tree or an old building, watching, waiting. These weren't just nighttime encounters either. Broad daylight sightings were reported, where the creature was said to stand its ground, undeterred by the sun or the presence of onlookers. Its large frame, often cloaked in gray or brown, stood in stark contrast to its surroundings. Its eyes, those fiery, mesmerizing eyes, remained a consistent detail in almost every account. But the Mothman was more than just a passive observer. Reports spoke of it soaring effortlessly above cars, pursuing them with an agility and speed that defied its size. The palpable fear in these stories wasn't just from witnessing an anomaly, but from a very real sense of being hunted, of being chosen. The local media was soon flooded with sketches, each attempting to capture the essence of this enigmatic being. Community meetings were held, with residents grappling for explanations and seeking reassurance. It was a time of both unity and unease. What was particularly compelling about these accounts was the lack of any discernible pattern. The Mothman didn't favor a particular location, time, or individual. It appeared and receded like a ghostly apparition, leaving in its wake a trail of questions and a growing sense of foreboding. With every new sighting, the legend grew, and Point Pleasant transformed from a quiet riverside town to the focal point of a narrative that would soon capture the imagination of the nation and beyond. The Mothman was no longer just a local tale. It had taken flight, casting its shadow far and wide. Over time, many have attempted to deconstruct the Mothman phenomenon. Was it an alien? A visitor from another dimension? Or a creature that has long existed but seldom seen? Some even speculate about covert government experiments. Point Pleasant isn't the Lone Ranger here. Whispers of similar sightings exist in remote corners of the world. In the annals of the paranormal, there are stories that merely intrigue, and then there are those that consume, pulling you into a vortex of mystery that's impossible to escape. The Mothman had already left an indelible mark on Point Pleasant, but as the weeks and months progressed, the enigma surrounding this creature only intensified. First, it wasn't just the sightings of the Mothman that sent ripples of anxiety through the community. There began to emerge a series of unexplained phenomena that compounded the town's sense of unease. Residents spoke of inexplicable disruptions, electronic devices behaving erratically, radios emitting static without cause, and television suddenly blanking out or displaying incomprehensible patterns. But even more disconcerting were the reports of phone disturbances. Locals recounted instances where they'd pick up their phones only to be greeted by an eerie silence or, more chillingly, distorted voices murmuring unintelligible messages. Some even claimed that they were given dire warnings or predictions, heightening the atmosphere of fear and anticipation. Adding to the mystique, individuals came forward with tales of enigmatic men dressed in dark suits, often referred to as the Men in Black. These figures were reported to approach witnesses of the Mothman or those investigating the phenomenon, urging them, sometimes rather forcefully, to halt their inquiries. Their appearances were as fleeting as they were frightening, leaving behind more questions than answers. Who were they? Government agents? Otherworldly enforcers? Or something even more sinister? Amidst this heightened strangeness, local animals began behaving unusually. Pets went missing, Livestock was found mutilated, and wild animals seemed agitated without discernible reason. The town's very aura seemed to shift from its once peaceful demeanor to a place brimming with tension, a community on edge, awaiting something. The Mothman, in this intensified climate, was no longer just a creature to be spotted and reported. It had become symbolic of a broader, more pervasive mystery, an emblem of a series of bewildering occurrences that defied logical understanding. To the outside world, Point Pleasant might have seemed like a town gripped by a collective hysteria. Skeptics offered various explanations, from mass delusion to the misidentification of native bird species. Yet, for those living the experience, these dismissive theories paled in comparison to the very tangible fear and uncertainty they felt each day. The town found itself caught in a conundrum, a desire to unravel the truth, yet an apprehension of what that truth might reveal. As the enigma intensified, Point Pleasant became less of a place defined by its geography and more by its place in a grand, unfolding narrative of the unexplained. The Mothman, with its glowing red eyes, had not just landed in their midst, it had anchored itself into the very soul of the community. As we draw this journey into the heart of Point Pleasant's most mystifying chapter to a close, it's important to step back and reflect upon the larger implications of the Mothman narrative. Every culture, every civilization carries tales of the unknown, stories of entities, phenomena, and occurrences that challenge our understanding of reality. The Mothman, in all its haunting ambiguity, is but one such tale. Yet it stands apart, not merely as an account of a winged creature with piercing eyes, but as a testament to the profound impact such phenomena can have on a community and its collective consciousness. It's easy from a distance to dismiss or rationalize these stories. Skeptics might label them as fabrications, psychological aberrations, or simple misunderstandings of natural occurrences. But delve deeper, and it becomes clear that the true essence of the Mothman saga isn't just about spotting a cryptid or navigating a series of eerie events. It's about the human experience, our intrinsic need to seek answers, our innate curiosity about realms beyond our understanding, and our eternal struggle with the inexplicable. For Point Pleasant, the Mothman represents more than just a series of sightings or a paranormal enigma. It embodies a period in their history marked by intrigue, fear, unity, and resilience. A time when ordinary individuals found themselves thrust into the limelight, their personal experiences becoming threads in a larger, mesmerizing tapestry. Whether you believe in the Mothman or not, its story serves as a poignant reminder of the vastness of our universe and the mysteries it holds. A reminder that sometimes the line between the known and the unknown is a mere flutter of wings away. As the sun sets over the Ohio River and the shadows of the past merge with the silhouettes of the present, Point Pleasant stands as a beacon to all those drawn to the allure of the uncharted. And while the Mothman may or may not grace its skies again, the questions it raised, the emotions it stirred, and the legacy it left behind ensure that its tale will never be forgotten. So, dear listeners, as we bring this segment to a close, I leave you with a thought. In a world filled with certainties and data, perhaps it's the mysteries, the unexplained, that truly enrich our lives, urging us to question, to wonder, and to dream. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies, your heart open to the unknown, and your mind ever curious. What'd you guys think about that? The Mothman Prophecies. Come on. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the movie, you have to go. Yeah, not go see it, but I think it came out in like 2001. Go rent it. Go. Well, I mean, we're in the digital age, right? Go on Amazon, download it. I don't know. Whatever you guys do to see your movies, check it out if you haven't. Please hit me up with any of your thoughts if you would like to add on to this, if I missed something, if I got something wrong, if you want to discuss it. Hey, drop me a line, beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. Now, as usual, we're going to end this with a trivia question. Okay, and then we're going to we're going to take a break and then go into our short story segment. But our trivia question, and once again, last week's trivia question, I got 0 responses, and that's okay. I'm going to keep doing this. Trivia is fun, and one of these times, someone is going to participate and get these damn points. So, today's trivia question, and the trivia question will always cover the main topic. So if you need to go back and listen, please do. And the rule is, I trust you, just don't use Google. Use your brain, ask a friend, tell them not to use Google. Just let's try to get the answer. Today's trivia question is, in which town in West Virginia did the Mothman sightings predominantly occur during the 1960s, later becoming the center of eerie legends and tales? I will repeat the question. In which town in West Virginia did the Mothman sightings predominantly occur during the 1960s, later becoming the center of eerie legends and tales? If you know the answer, please shoot me an email at beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. Don't leave an answer in chat if you're watching the premiere. Don't leave it in the comments. Don't use Google. Please, the answer is in the story. Email me. The first person to email me and gets it right will get 10 points. Still coming up with what we're doing with those points. Maybe that's why nobody's participating. They're like, hey man, these points are fake. Fake news. Guys, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it is short story segment time. We're going to continue reading Harvest Moon with chapters 4 and 5. Should be about a 5-minute read, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Shoutouts to Mixkit.co, who provide all the music and sounds that you hear here on Beyond the Dark with Jay Rockwell. If you would like to hear your music on Beyond the Dark, please hit me up. BeyondTheDarkRadio@Outlook.com. That is BeyondTheDarkRadio@Outlook.com. See you guys in just a minute.
Welcome back to Beyond the Dark with Jay Rockwell.
Thank you, Michelle. Here I am, and we're going to jump right into short story segment. Remember, the story we are currently on is called Harvest Moon. You can check it out. I have the links down below if you want to see the images that go along with the chapters. We're going to read chapters 4 and 5. See the previous episodes of Beyond the Dark for the other chapters if interested, okay? So let's go ahead and kick it off. Harvest Moon, Chapter 4, Unraveling the Conspiracy. The once harmonious streets of Havenbrook now echoed with distrust and paranoia. The revelation of the alien presence had shattered the town's unity, leaving scars that ran deep. Friends turned against friends, families torn apart by suspicion. Sarah and Tom, burdened with the weight of their discoveries, sought solace in each other's company. Together, they pieced together the fragments of the conspiracy that had ensnared Havenbrook for generations. The town's founding families, those who held positions of power and influence, were implicated in the sinister plot. A hidden network had thrived in the shadows, ensuring the perpetuation of the alien harvesting. The leaders of Havenbrook had struck a devil's bargain with these otherworldly beings, sacrificing their fellow townspeople for their own gain. Sarah's research led her to the town's historical archives, where she uncovered the dark secrets of Havenbrook's past. Generations of town leaders had conspired to maintain their positions of power by willingly offering the citizens as sacrifices to the alien entities. As Sarah shared her findings with Tom, a chilling realization settled over them. The town's leaders were not the only ones involved. They discovered a clandestine group known as the Guardians, who served as the aliens' loyal human accomplices. These enigmatic figures, hidden in plain sight, ensured the seamless continuation of the harvest. Together, Sarah and Tom devised a plan to expose the conspiracy and free Havenbrook from its nightmarish grip. They rallied those who had retained their sanity, urging them to unite against the hidden enemy. The town's residents, fueled by a mix of fear and righteous anger, assembled in the old community center, their eyes glinting with determination. As Sarah and Tom addressed the crowd, they outlined their strategy: a coordinated assault on the alien stronghold. Armed with the knowledge of the harvest's inner workings, they planned to dismantle the pods that held the captive brethren, severing the alien's lifeline. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the townspeople prepared for the final battle. They armed themselves with makeshift weapons, their resolve forged by the indomitable spirit of survival. The time had come to confront their darkest fears and reclaim their town from the clutches of the alien invaders. Under the cover of darkness, they descended upon the hidden lair, their footsteps a resolute march against the unknown. Each pod they destroyed was a step closer to liberation, a strike against the insidious conspiracy that had haunted Havenbrook for far too long. But as the battle raged on, the aliens revealed their true form. Monstrous, towering beings with gleaming eyes and tendrils that snaked through the air. The townspeople fought valiantly, their screams echoing through the underground chambers. In the heart of the lair, Sarah and Tom confronted the leader of the Guardians, a figure shrouded in darkness and draped in deception. Their final clash was a symphony of desperation and determination, the clash of wills that would decide the town's fate. As the moon reached its zenith, Havenbrook erupted in a cataclysmic struggle between humanity and the extraterrestrial forces that sought its demise. Blood stained the soil, bodies fell, and hope flickered like a dying flame. Chapter 5: The Resistance Forms. The aftermath of the battle left Havenbrook in ruins, a town scarred by both physical devastation and emotional turmoil. The once thriving community now resembled a ghost town, its streets hauntingly silent. Survivors emerged from the shadows, their faces etched with grief and determination. Sarah and Tom, battered but unbowed, became beacons of hope for the fractured remnants of Havenbrook. They rallied those who had survived the carnage, determined to rebuild their shattered lives and stand against any future threat. In the charred remains of the old community center, they forged the Resistance, a group of like-minded individuals who vowed to protect Havenbrook from further alien incursions. It was an alliance born out of necessity, fueled by the shared trauma they had endured. The resistance set up their headquarters in the basement of the burned-out building, hidden from prying eyes. There, they planned their next move, their strategy to dismantle the remnants of the alien conspiracy that still lingered in the shadows. Sarah's research had uncovered a weakness, a vulnerability that lay dormant within the alien beings. She discovered that their dependence on human hosts left them susceptible to a specific frequency of sound waves. Armed with this knowledge, the Resistance began constructing a device, a weapon capable of emitting the targeted frequencies. Days turned into weeks as they toiled in secrecy, their determination unwavering. Sarah's expertise in electronics combined with Tom's mechanical skills brought the weapon to life, a beacon of hope amidst the despair. But the Resistance faced an eternal struggle, the lingering effects of paranoia and mistrust. The townspeople, scarred by the infiltration of the Guardians, struggled to overcome the lingering doubts that had been sown within their minds. Sarah and Tom found themselves at the center of this battle, their leadership tested at every turn. They knew that in order to succeed they needed unity. They needed to rekindle the flickering flame of trust among the townspeople. Sarah and Tom organized community gatherings where they shared stories of survival and rallied the broken spirits. Slowly, the seeds of trust began to sprout, and the Resistance grew stronger. The final showdown loomed on the horizon. The Resistance prepared to strike it at the heart of the remaining alien forces. Armed with their weapon and bolstered by newfound solidarity, they ventured into the depths of the woods, determined to eradicate the threat once and for all. As they neared the alien stronghold, they could feel the oppressive presence that emanated from within. The air grew heavy, suffocating, as if warning them of the impending danger. With a resounding battle cry, the Resistance launched their assault. The weapon unleashed a symphony of sound, vibrating through the alien beings and leaving them writhing in agony. The Resistance fought with a ferocity born from desperation, a collective will to protect their home at any cost. As the last of the alien invaders fell, Havenbrook was bathed in an eerie silence. The once permeating sense of dread dissipated, replaced by a glimmer of hope. The town's survivors emerged from hiding, their eyes filled with gratitude and relief. The Resistance had triumphed, but the scars remained, both physical and emotional. They understood that their lives would forever be altered by the invasion, but they also knew that they had the strength to rebuild, to heal, and to face whatever new challenges lay ahead. And that concludes chapters 4 and 5 of Harvest Moon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, if you think this story sucks, that's perfectly fine. But if you think it sucks, please give me something better. If you have any stories that you would like me to read on air, if you have any experiences, any encounters, any questions, please email me beyondthedarkradio@outlook.com. Do not forget, folks, we are almost there. Next week, we have a double feature. On Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing Beyond the Dark as usual. And then on Tuesday, Halloween, we'll be doing our first Phantom Frequencies special. I can't wait. I'm pumped. I'm stoked. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. No candy to give out, but I got candy in these stories, let me tell you. Also, don't forget, we have the Discord community. We are building it. We are at about 15 people now. Slowly but surely, numbers are climbing. I appreciate everyone who takes part. You don't have to. It's not a requirement, but it is a free program or app that you can get on your phone or computer. It's free to sign up. It's simply just a message board and chat room put into one, okay? Where we can share pictures of our dogs and cats. We can talk to each other in real time. We don't have to wait for our nightly streams at 6:30 and our weekly streams at 10 p.m. on Monday nights, okay? Lastly, I want to thank the coffee supporters again. I love you guys, and I can't thank you enough. Michelle, Afros Animation, and Sky Eyes. Thank you guys so much for everything. We're going to go ahead and end this show. I hope you enjoyed everything. If you did, please hit that like button, please hit that sub button, and please keep your notifications on so you can get pinged when I make a post or I go live, okay? It's been real. It's Jay Rockwell. This is Beyond the Dark, and I hope to see you guys next week. Take care and have a great night. Bye-bye.